Leo Moretti had a problem. Well, technically, he had 3 problems, but the first one was taking up most of his mental bandwidth at the moment. He'd had another dream about Dante Vitale last night, and this time it involved Dante's desk, Leo bent over it, and absolutely zero appropriate workplace boundaries. Leo stared at that desk now. Massive dark wood, imposing, covered in documents that probably contained information he wasn't cleared to see. He tried very hard not to blush. Mr. Moretti. Leo's head snapped up. Dante stood in the doorway of his office, perfectly tailored charcoal suit, dark hair precisely styled, expression as unreadable as always. He looked like he'd stepped off the cover of a magazine titled Intimidatingly Hot Italian Businessmen Who Could Ruin Your Life. Yes, Mr. Vitale. Leo clutched his tablet tighter, hoping Dante couldn't read minds. You wanted to discuss the venue options? Right. Yes. The venues. Leo followed him into the office, pointedly not looking at the desk. He had photos. 6 months. He'd been working for Dante Vitale for 6 months, planning his company's events, charity galas, fundraisers, networking dinners. 6 months of professional conversations, formal emails, and Dante calling him a Mr. Moretti like they were in a Victorian novel, and Leo was a particularly efficient piece of office furniture. 6 months of Leo having increasingly inappropriate thoughts about his boss while Dante treated him with impeccable, infuriating professionalism. Leo set his tablet on the nope, not thinking about the desk, on the conference table instead, and pulled up his presentation. I've narrowed it down to 3 options for the spring gala, he said, switching into professional mode. It was easier to function when he pretended Dante was just another client, not the alpha who'd starred in his subconscious for the past 6 months. The first is the Astoria Ballroom. Classic, elegant. Holds 400 guests comfortably. Dante moved to stand beside him, close enough that Leo caught his scent, something expensive and cedar-spiced, layered with the sharp undertone of alpha dominance that made Leo's hindbrain want to lean closer like a complete idiot. He did not lean closer. He was a professional. The second option is the Waterfront Plaza. Leo swiped to the next photo. More modern. Floor-to-ceiling windows with city views. Very Instagrammable. Instagrammable, Dante repeated, and Leo couldn't tell if he was amused or judging his word choice. Your guests will post about it, Leo explained. Free publicity. That was his thinking sound. Leo had learned his sounds over 6 months. The meant he was considering. The sharp bene meant approved. The silence meant he was solving a problem Leo couldn't see. There were a lot of things about Dante Vitale Leo couldn't see. Like whether he'd ever looked at Leo as anything other than the Omega who scheduled his events. Or whether he even knew Leo had a first name, he'd never used it. Or whether he was single, though Leo had seen a photo of him at some gala with an Omega who looked like he modeled for high-end brands in his spare time. Leo, with his sensible shoes and color-coded planner, was decidedly not high-end model material. And the third option? Dante prompted. Leo swiped to the last venue. The Manor House Inn. His phone lit up on the table between them. A notification banner appeared across the top of the screen, visible to anyone standing nearby, which unfortunately included Dante. Paolo Ferraro, Bella, about tomorrow night. Can't wait to see you in that outfit again. Wear the blue one. Leo's stomach dropped. He grabbed for his phone, but Dante's hand was already there, his fingers closing around Leo's wrist. Not hard. Just stopping him. Who, Dante said, his voice gone very quiet, is Paolo Ferraro? Oh no. Leo's brain stuttered. Dante was still holding his wrist, his grip gentle but immovable, his dark eyes fixed on Leo's phone screen. The temperature in the room had dropped approximately 20 degrees. He's a friend, Leo managed. Can I have my phone back? A friend. Dante's thumb brushed against Leo's pulse point. Could he feel how fast his heart was racing? You wear coordinated outfits for friends? It's none of your business, actually. Leo tugged his wrist. Dante didn't let go. Mr. Vitali. Dante. Leo blinked. What? My name is Dante. Use it. His eyes finally left Leo's phone to meet his, and the intensity there made Leo's breath catch. Now. Tell me about Paolo Ferraro. I don't understand why you. Tell me. Not a request. Leo's temper, which had been simmering under 6 months of professional courtesy, sparked. No. You don't get to demand explanations about my personal life. You're my client, not my. You're what? Dante stepped closer, still holding Leo's wrist, still looking at him like he could see straight through every wall Leo had built. Not your, Leo finished weakly. Not my anything. No. Dante's jaw tightened. I'm not. But Paolo Ferraro isn't going to be either. Excuse me. Dante released Leo's wrist only to pick up his phone. Leo made a grab for it, but Dante held it out of reach with one hand, unfairly easy given their height difference, while his other hand caught Leo's waist to steady him when he nearly stumbled into Dante. Hey! Leo tried to sound authoritative. It came out breathless. That's my phone. You can't just. We're the blue one. Dante read, his accent thickening with what Leo was beginning to recognize as anger. He's texting you about coordinated outfits. Saying he can't wait. We're going to dinner tomorrow. It's not, give me my phone. No. No? You can't just. You're going to cancel. Leo gaped at him. I'm going to what? No. I'm not canceling my plans because my client is having some kind of possessive meltdown. I'm not having a meltdown, Dante said, which was rich considering he was currently scrolling through Leo's messages with increasing fury. Cristo. He texts you every morning. Good morning, Bella. Thinking about you. Stop reading my texts. When's the last time you saw him? Yesterday. Lunch. Not that it's any of your. Yesterday. Dante looked up from the phone, and Leo took an involuntary step back. He'd never seen Dante look like this. Controlled Dante, professional Dante, barely smiles Dante had been replaced by someone who looked seconds away from breaking something. You had lunch with Paolo Ferraro yesterday? Yes. And I'm having dinner with him tomorrow. And you don't get a say in it. You're not going. Yes, I am. Leo. Dante set Leo's phone down on the desk, and Leo was absolutely not thinking about that right now, and took both his hands in his. His thumbs brushed over Leo's knuckles. You're not having dinner with Paolo Ferraro tomorrow. Or ever again. You can't tell me who to date. I'm not telling you who to date. Dante's scent flared, cedar and something darker, possessive. I'm telling you who you can't date. Him. Specifically him. Leo yanked his hands free. This is insane. You're being insane. I don't understand what's happening right now. What's happening, Dante said, voice low and intense, is that you're going to block that number and never speak to that man again. Why? Leo demanded. Give me one good reason why I should listen to you. Because you're mine. The words hung in the air between them. Leo's mind went completely blank. I'm, what? Dante's expression shifted, surprise flickering across his features like he hadn't meant to say that out loud. But he didn't take it back. Instead, he stepped closer, backing Leo against the desk Leo had been trying not to think about. "You heard me," he said quietly. Leo's brain was offline. "You never even used my first name before today. I've always known your name. You call me Mr. Vitali because if I called you Leo, I'd want to say it again and again, and I was trying to keep distance." His hand came up to cup Leo's face. "It didn't work. You treat me like office furniture. I treat you professionally because the alternative is very unprofessional." Dante's thumb brushed Leo's cheekbone. "And you deserve better than my world." "What world? You're a businessman." Dante's laugh was sharp. "Is that what you think? You run an import-export company. Among other things." "What other things?" "Things you're better off not knowing." He was so close now. "Things that make Paolo Ferraro very bad news for you." "I don't understand any of this." But Leo wasn't pulling away. Couldn't pull away. 6 months of thinking Dante didn't see him, and now Dante was looking at him like he was the only person in the world. "You never gave any indication you were interested." "I gave many indications." "You didn't notice." "Name one." "I memorized your coffee order after you mentioned it once. I rescheduled 3 meetings because you said you had a migraine. I bought paintings from the artist you said you liked for the office lobby. I know you change your cologne with the seasons, and that you bite your lip when you're concentrating, and that your scent gets brighter when you talk about flowers." Dante brushed a strand of hair from Leo's face. "I notice everything about you, Leo." Leo's breath caught. "Then why didn't you?" "Because noticing and acting on it are different things. I wanted to keep you separate from my life. Safe." His expression darkened. "And then Paolo fucking Ferraro decided to complicate everything." "What does Paolo have to do with this?" "Everything." Dante's hand slid from Leo's face to his neck, thumb resting against his pulse. "He's not what you think he is." "Then tell me what he is." "Someone who shouldn't be anywhere near you." "That's not an answer." "It's the only answer you're getting right now." Dante's eyes dropped to Leo's mouth. "So here's what's going to happen. You're going to pick up that phone, text Paolo that you can't see him anymore, and block his number." "And if I don't?" "Then I will. You can't watch me." But Dante didn't move to grab the phone. He just kept looking at Leo like he was memorizing every detail. "Or you can do it yourself and save us both the drama." Leo's temper flared again. "This is crazy. You're being crazy. I barely know you outside of work. You've never asked me on a date, and now you're trying to control who I see." "I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to protect you. From him. From consequences you don't understand." Dante's jaw tightened. "And yes. I should have asked you to dinner months ago instead of keeping professional distance. I should have told you I noticed you the first day you walked into this office wearing that blue sweater and carrying too many binders. I should have done a lot of things differently." Leo's heart was hammering. "I wore a blue sweater the first day. You asked if there was a coffee machine and then got excited about the espresso maker. You said you'd never seen one that nice outside of Italy." A ghost of a smile. "You have no idea how hard it was to stay professional when all I wanted was to ask if you'd ever been to Italy so I could offer to take you. You remember that?" "I remember everything about you." Dante's hand was still on Leo's neck, warm and possessive. "So yes, Leo. You're mine. I'm claiming that now. Clearly and publicly, so there's no confusion. And that means Paolo Ferraro needs to disappear from your life. You can't just claim someone. I just did. That's not how this works. Then tell me I'm wrong. Dante leaned closer, his breath warm against Leo's ear. Tell me you don't feel this. Tell me you haven't thought about me the way I've thought about you. Tell me you don't want this as much as I do. Leo couldn't. Because he had thought about Dante constantly. Inappropriately. In dreams that made him wake up flushed and guilty. I thought you only dated models, he whispered. Dante pulled back, frowning. What? I saw a photo. You were at some gala with an Omega who looked like he walked runways. That was 2 years ago. A business arrangement for an event. I haven't dated anyone seriously in over 3 years. Dante's thumb stroked Leo's neck. And Leo, I don't want a model. I want the Omega who gets excited about flower arrangements and argues with caterers about menu options and bites his pen when he's thinking. I want you. This is insane. Probably. He didn't sound sorry. Are you going to block him? Leo's phone buzzed again. They both looked at it. Paolo Ferraro, Leo? You there, Bella? Dante's expression went dark. Before Leo could react, he picked up the phone, typed something, and showed Leo the screen. To Paolo, this is Dante Vitali. Leo won't be available tomorrow or any other day. Lose this number. You did not just. Leo grabbed for the phone. Dante held it up. Block him, or I will. You can't send that. Already did. He showed Leo the sent message, then started scrolling to the settings. Dante. Block him. Leo. They stared at each other. Dante's finger hovered over the block button. Leo's heart was racing. This was insane. Dante was insane. Leo should be furious. But underneath the anger was something else. Something that felt dangerously like relief. Like want. Like 6 months of tension finally breaking open. Fine. Leo held out his hand. Give me the phone. Dante hesitated, then handed it over, watching him carefully. Leo pulled up Paolo's contact, finger hovering over the block option. This is crazy. I know. You're crazy. I know that too. I should walk out right now and never come back. You should. Dante's eyes were dark, intense. But you won't. Leo hit block. The silence that followed was deafening. There. Leo showed him the screen. Happy? Getting there. Dante took the phone and set it aside, then pulled Leo closer by the waist. For the record, that blue outfit he mentioned. I want to see you in it. At dinner. With me. Tomorrow night. You're taking me to dinner. I'm taking you to dinner. And anywhere else you want to go. And I'm making it very clear to everyone who looks at you that you're off limits. Because I'm yours. Leo said it slowly, testing the words. Because you're mine. Dante confirmed. Is that a problem? Leo should say yes. Should point out that this was moving at light speed, that he barely knew Dante outside of work, that possessive alpha businessmen with mysterious connections weren't exactly a safe bet. Instead, he heard himself say, I have one condition. Name it. You tell me what you meant about Paolo being bad news. About your world. Leo put his hand on Dante's chest, feeling his heartbeat under the expensive suit. I need to know what I'm getting into. Dante covered Leo's hand with his. Not everything. Not yet. But the basics. Paolo Ferraro is from a family that competes with mine. Has for generations. We have agreements. Territories. Understandings. And him pursuing you crosses lines. What kind of family? The kind that operates in gray areas. The kind where handshakes mean more than contracts and respect is currency. Dante's jaw tightened. The kind you shouldn't be involved with. Which is why I tried to stay away from you. Leo's pulse jumped. Are you saying you're... I'm saying my business interests extend beyond importing olive oil. Yes. How far beyond? Far enough that Paolo knew exactly who you were when he approached you. Dante's expression hardened. He didn't meet you by accident, Leo. He knew you worked for me, and he pursued you anyway. Which was either incredibly stupid or a calculated move. The pieces clicked together. He was using me to get to you. Most likely. And you knew? I suspected. Then I saw his messages and stopped caring about suspicions. Dante's voice dropped. He put his hands on what's mine. That changes everything. Leo should be scared. Should be running. Instead, he felt anger bubbling up. So he was playing me this whole time. Probably not the whole time. But yes. That asshole. Dante's lips twitched. That asshole is going to have a very interesting conversation with me soon. Will you? Leo paused. Are you going to hurt him? Do you want me to? No. Maybe. I don't know. Leo pressed his hands to his face. This is so much. I know. Dante gently pulled Leo's hands away. Which is why I'm asking, do you want to walk away? Right now, you can leave. Finish this event planning job remotely. I'll never contact you again outside of professional necessity. You'll be safe. And if I stay? If you stay, everything changes. You'll be mine in every way that matters. Which means protected, but also watched. Cared for, but also occasionally frustrated by my security measures. Spoiled, but also sometimes annoyed by my possessive tendencies. He cupped Leo's face. I won't be an easy alpha to be with, Leo. But I'll be yours completely. Leo's head was spinning. This morning, he'd woken up thinking Dante Vitali barely knew he existed. Now Dante was offering him everything. I need to think, he said. Okay. Can we finish talking about the venues first? I still need to do my job. Dante studied him, then nodded. Okay. Show me the third option. Just like that, they were back to business. Except Dante's hand stayed on Leo's waist while they reviewed photos. And when Leo explained the pros and cons of each venue, Dante stood close enough that their shoulders touched. And when Leo bit his lip thinking about logistics, Dante's thumb brushed his side. Professional. But not. The waterfront plaza, Dante decided. Book it. That's my recommendation too. I'll send the contract over tomorrow. Good. He turned Leo to face him fully. And Leo, think fast. I'm not a patient alpha. Then he pressed a kiss to Leo's forehead and stepped back, leaving Leo breathless and confused and more turned on than he'd been in his entire life. I'll see you tomorrow, Dante said. Wear the blue outfit. 7 o'clock. I'll pick you up. Leo grabbed his tablet with shaking hands. You don't know where I live. Yes, I do. At Leo's expression, Dante shrugged. I know everything about you, remember? Including that you live in a third-floor walk-up in Astoria, drink too much coffee, and stay up too late working. That's creepy. That's thorough. Dante opened the office door for him. 7 o'clock, Leo. Don't make me come find you. Is that a threat? It's a promise. Leo fled. He made it to his car before calling his best friend, Marcus. Marcus, he said the moment the phone was answered. I need you to talk me down from a ledge. What happened? Did Mr. Sexy Alpha finally notice you exist? Worse. He noticed me 6 months ago and has apparently been restraining himself ever since. And also, he just made me block another guy and told me I'm his, and I think I just agreed to dinner with someone who might be in the Mafia. Silence. Then, I'm coming over. Open wine. Start at the beginning. Leo drove home in a daze, stopping for wine on the way. By the time Marcus arrived, Leo had changed into sweats and had 2 glasses already poured. Okay, Marcus said, kicking off his shoes and curling up on Leo's couch. Spill everything. Leo spilled. The text from Paolo. Dante's reaction. The "You're Mine" declaration. The implication that Dante was involved in things that weren't strictly legal. The dinner invitation. All of it. When he finished, Marcus was staring at him with wide eyes. First of all, Marcus said slowly, you've been having sex dreams about your boss and didn't tell me? That's what you're focusing on. I'm building context. When did these dreams start? Like, month 2 of working for him. And in these dreams, was there a desk involved? Leo's face heated. Maybe. Boy, you've been holding out on me. Marcus shook his head. Okay. Second, this Paolo guy, how long have you been seeing him? 3 weeks. We've had coffee a few times, lunch twice, and we were supposed to have dinner tomorrow. And you liked him? Leo considered. He was nice. Charming. He paid attention to me, which felt good after 6 months of Dante treating me like a calendar app. Except Dante wasn't treating you like a calendar app. He was memorizing everything about you and fighting not to jump you at work. Apparently. That's hot. That's concerning. It's both. Marcus sipped his wine. So the real question is, do you want this? Because Dante Vitali just claimed you in front of, well, in front of you. And he's clearly not playing around. I don't know what I want, Leo admitted. I've spent 6 months thinking he didn't see me. Then I spent 3 weeks enjoying attention from Paolo. And now suddenly Dante is possessive and intense and talking about protecting me from his world, which sounds super sketchy by the way. But, Leo groaned. But I've wanted him since day one. And finding out he wanted me back this whole time, that he was keeping distance on purpose. That makes it worse or better? I don't know. What does your gut say? Leo thought about the way Dante had looked at him. The way he'd said Leo's name. The way his hand had felt on Leo's waist, possessive and sure. My gut says I'm going to that dinner tomorrow in the blue outfit. Attaboy. Marcus grinned. But Leo. Be careful. If he's really involved in organized crime. I know. I know it's dangerous. I know I should run. Leo refilled both their glasses. But I can't stop thinking about him. And now that I know he feels the same way. You want to see where this goes. I want to see where this goes. Then wear the blue outfit, Marcus said. And text me when you get home so I know you're alive. And if he's weird or scary or crosses any lines, you call me immediately and I'll come get you. Deal. They finished the wine discussing logistics, what Leo should wear, how he should do his hair, whether Dante seemed like the type to take him somewhere fancy or somewhere private. By the time Marcus left, Leo was feeling slightly more stable. Then his phone buzzed. Dante, sleep well, Leo. Tomorrow is going to change everything. Leo stared at the message, heart racing. Leo, is that another threat or another promise? Dante, both. Sweet dreams. Leo definitely did not sleep well. The next day crawled by. Leo worked from home, confirming vendors for the gala and trying very hard not to think about the evening. He failed spectacularly. At 5 o'clock, he gave up pretending to work and started getting ready. The blue outfit was his favorite, fitted slacks and a deep navy that hugged his hips, a silk button-up the color of midnight that brought out the blue in his eyes, and a blazer that made his shoulders look broader. He'd worn it to a networking dinner 2 weeks ago, which was apparently where Paolo had seen it. Now he was wearing it for Dante. Leo styled his hair carefully, the dark strands falling just so across his forehead. He dabbed a touch of concealer under his eyes. He'd been up late working and wanted to look fresh, then chose his cologne. The winter one, bergamot and vanilla, that Dante had apparently noticed him switch to. His scent sweetened with nervous anticipation, a hint of honeyed omega warmth that he usually tried to suppress around other alphas. At 6:55, his phone buzzed. Dante, I'm outside. Leo grabbed his phone and keys, slipped them into his jacket pocket, checked himself one more time in the mirror, and headed downstairs. Dante was leaning against a black car that probably cost more than Leo's annual salary, wearing a suit that fit him like it was made for him, which it probably was. When he saw Leo, he straightened, eyes tracking him from head to toe. Leo. His name came out rough. You look like I clean up okay. Leo offered, suddenly nervous. Like every alpha who sees you tonight is going to wish he was me. Dante opened the car door for him. Get in before I change my mind about taking you somewhere public. Leo slid into the car, hyper-aware of Dante's eyes on him. When Dante got in the driver's side, the space felt smaller. Charged with tension. The alpha scent filled the car, cedar, smoke, and something darker that made Leo's hindbrain purr. Where are we going? Leo asked. My place. Italian. On the waterfront. I know the owner. Of course you do. Dante's lips quirked. I know the owner of most restaurants in the city. It's useful. For your import-export business? Among other things. They drove in comfortable silence, Leo sneaking glances at Dante's profile. In the close quarters of the car, he could smell Dante's cologne again, could see the way his hands moved on the steering wheel, capable hands. Strong. Leo was thinking about those hands again when Dante spoke. What are you thinking about? Nothing. Liar. Dante glanced at him. Your scent spiked. And your pulse is racing. I can see it in your neck. Maybe I'm nervous. You're not nervous. You're thinking about something that's making your scent go sweet. Leo crossed his legs. I'm not. Leo. His name again, low and amused. I told you. I notice everything about you. That's still creepy. You don't think it's creepy. You think it's interesting. Dante turned onto the waterfront road. So what were you thinking about? Your hands. My hands. On the steering wheel. Never mind. No. Please finish that thought. Dante's voice had dropped an octave. You were what? Thinking about them on other things, Leo muttered. The car swerved slightly before Dante corrected. Cazzo. What? Nothing. Just, Dante pulled into a parking spot and turned to face Leo fully. Just that if you keep talking like that, we're not making it to dinner. Leo's breath caught. That would be unprofessional. I stopped being professional the moment I told you that you were mine. Dante reached over, tucking a strand of hair behind Leo's ear. But I'm going to feed you first. And then we're going to talk. And then we'll see where the evening goes. He got out of the car before Leo could respond. The restaurant was exactly as fancy as Leo expected. Low lighting. Crisp white tablecloths. Waiters in perfect uniforms. The host greeted Dante by name and led them to a corner table with a view of the water. Mr. Vitali. Your usual table. And may I say, your companion is lovely this evening. Thank you, Marco. We'll start with the Chianti Classico, 2015. Once they were seated, Leo raised an eyebrow. Your usual table? I eat here often. Business dinners. With models? Dante's eyes gleamed. Jealous? Curious. I haven't brought anyone here in over 2 years, Dante said. Business dinners are work. This is not work. What is this? This is me taking out the Omega I've wanted for 6 months and finally getting to look at him the way I've wanted to since he walked into my office in a blue sweater. Leo's face heated. You really remember that? I remember everything. Dante leaned back as the waiter poured wine. Once they were alone again, he continued. I remember you asked if the office had good coffee. I remember you smiled at my assistant when she was having a bad day. I remember you brought cannoli to a meeting and said your grandmother's recipe was better than any bakery's. You remember cannoli? I remember you had powdered sugar on your lip, and I wanted to kiss it off. Dante's eyes tracked to Leo's mouth. I remember a lot of things I wanted to do but didn't, because I was trying to be professional. Trying to keep you separate from my life. Why? Because you're good, Leo. You light up talking about centerpieces and color schemes. You get excited about seating arrangements. You're the kind of Omega who should have a normal life with a normal Alpha who comes home at normal hours. Dante's jaw tightened. I'm not that Alpha. What kind of Alpha are you? The kind who makes people nervous. The kind who solves problems that can't be solved legally. The kind whose phone calls make things happen that shouldn't happen. He studied Leo. The kind who shouldn't be anywhere near someone like you but can't seem to stay away. Leo sipped his wine, processing. So, when you said your business extends beyond importing olive oil. I meant it literally. We do import olive oil. Also wine, cheese, various Italian goods. All legitimate. But there are other interests. Other arrangements with families like Paolo's. Yes and no. Paolo's family is in the same business, but we're not partners. Dante paused, choosing words carefully. We have agreements. Territories. We stay out of each other's way. Usually. And Paolo coming after me broke those agreements? Not technically. But it's disrespectful. A provocation. Dante's expression hardened. Whether he did it intentionally to get to me or because he genuinely liked you doesn't matter. The result is the same. He crossed a line. What happens now? With him, I mean. I'll handle it. That's not ominous at all. I'm not going to hurt him if that's what you're worried about. But we're going to have a conversation about boundaries and respect. And he's going to understand that you're off limits. Because I'm yours. Because you're mine. Dante confirmed. Unless you're planning to argue about that again. I'm still deciding how I feel about it. Take your time. But while you're deciding, know that I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not sharing. The waiter arrived to take their order, giving Leo a moment to collect himself. This was insane. All of it. He should be running. Should be calling Marcus to come get him. Instead, when the waiter left, he heard himself say, "Tell me something real. Something that has nothing to do with business or Paolo or any of this." Dante tilted his head. "What do you want to know?" "Why me? You could have anyone. You probably have Omegas throwing themselves at you constantly. So why the event planner who color-codes his calendar?" "Because you color-code your calendar," Dante said simply. "Because you get excited about lighting design and argue with caterers about sustainable sourcing. Because you're brilliant at what you do but don't realize it. Because you bit your lip the first time you showed me venue options, and I wanted to bite it too." Leo's breath hitched. "Because you're real." Dante continued. "Everything in my life is calculated. Planned. Political. But you walk into rooms and make them brighter without trying. You care about things that don't matter to most people, flowers, napkin colors, whether the wine pairs with the fish course. And when you smile," he shook his head. "When you smile like you're genuinely happy about something small and perfect, I forget why I was trying to stay away from you. Dante. And because you're sitting here with me even after learning what I am, which is either very brave or very stupid. But either way, it's very you." Their food arrived. They ate and talked, real conversation this time, not just work. Leo learned that Dante had grown up in Italy but moved to the States at 18. That he spoke 4 languages. That he hated mornings but loved espresso. That he'd learned to cook from his nana but never had time to do it anymore. Leo told him about growing up in Queens, about studying event planning in college, about his grandmother's cannoli recipe that Dante had remembered. About Marcus and his tendency to give terrible dating advice. About his apartment that was too expensive and too small but had good light. By the time dessert came, Leo had almost forgotten this wasn't a normal date with a normal alpha. Then Dante's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, expression darkening. "I need to make a call. Excuse me for a moment." He stepped away from the table, phone to his ear, his body language shifting into something harder, more dangerous. This was Dante the businessman. The alpha who made things happen that shouldn't happen. Leo sipped his wine and tried not to stare. When Dante returned, his expression was carefully neutral. "I'm sorry. Work. Is everything okay?" "It will be." Dante settled back into his seat. "Paolo won't be bothering you anymore." Leo's pulse jumped. "What does that mean?" "It means we had a conversation. He understands the situation now." "Dante. What did you do?" "Nothing dramatic. We talked. He apologized. We reached an understanding." Dante's eyes met his. "He knows you're off limits now. He won't contact you again." "Did you threaten him?" "I clarified boundaries. Whether he took that as a threat is his interpretation. That's not reassuring." "I'm not trying to be reassuring. I'm trying to keep you safe." Dante reached across the table to take Leo's hand. "Paolo's family and mine have a complicated history. Him pursuing you, whether innocent or not, put you in the middle of something you shouldn't be part of. Now you're not in the middle anymore. You're protected. By being yours. By being mine." Dante agreed. "Is that really so terrible?" Leo looked at their joined hands. Dante's thumb was tracing circles on his palm, casual and possessive at once. This morning, Leo had thought Dante Vitali barely noticed him. Now he was holding Dante's hand at dinner while Dante casually mentioned having conversations that made rival family members back off. "I don't know yet," Leo admitted. "Ask me again in a few days." "I can do that." Dante signaled for the check. Now. I'm taking you home. And before you protest, I mean you're home. I'm dropping you off like a gentleman. A gentleman who told me I'm his before even asking me on a date. A gentleman with very poor timing. Yes. Dante helped Leo with his coat. But I'm also an alpha who keeps his word. And I promised myself that if I ever got you to say yes to dinner, I'd do it right. Which means taking you home, walking you to your door, and restraining every instinct I have to follow you inside. Leo's mouth went dry. Every instinct. Every single one. Dante's hand settled on Leo's lower back as they walked to the car. So unless you want to test my self-control, I suggest you don't invite me up. The drive back to Leo's apartment was charged with tension. Every time Dante's hand shifted on the steering wheel, Leo thought about him touching Leo instead. Every time Dante glanced at him, Leo's scent sweetened with want. When they pulled up outside Leo's building, Leo didn't immediately get out. "Thank you for dinner," he said. "Thank you for not running when you had the chance. I'm still deciding if that was smart. Let me know what you decide." Dante got out and came around to open Leo's door, then walked him to the building entrance. His hand on Leo's back. His presence solid and warm beside Leo. At Leo's door, Leo turned to face him. "So. Gentlemen. Door drop-off. Exactly as promised." But Dante's eyes were dark, tracking over Leo's face like he was memorizing it. "Unless," Dante said. "Unless you're going to tell me you want me to come upstairs." Leo's heart hammered. This was it. The moment where he decided if he was really doing this. If he was really choosing the mysterious Italian alpha with connections to organized crime and a possessive streak that should probably concern him. But mostly just made him feel wanted. He thought about 6 months of thinking he was invisible. 6 months of professional distance. 6 months of wishing Dante Vitali would look at him like he mattered. Dante was looking at him like that now. "Come upstairs," Leo said. Dante's control visibly cracked. "Leo. Please." Leo took his hand. "Come upstairs." Dante followed him up 3 flights of stairs, his hand in Leo's, neither of them speaking. Leo's hands shook as he unlocked his apartment door. Marcus had made him promise to text when he got home safe. Leo would text later. Much later. The moment the door closed behind them, Dante pulled Leo against him. "Tell me now if you want me to leave," Dante said, his voice rough. "Because once I start kissing you, I'm not going to want to stop." "Then don't stop." Dante's mouth was on Leo's before he finished speaking. The kiss was nothing like Leo had imagined in his fantasies. It was better. Desperate and consuming. Dante's hands in Leo's hair, Leo's back against the door. 6 months of tension poured into one kiss, then another, then another. Bedroom, Leo managed between kisses. "Where?" Leo pointed. Dante lifted him, actually lifted him, and carried him down the hall. Leo would have laughed at the romance novel cliché except he was too busy kissing Dante's neck. Leo's bedroom was small and cluttered with work supplies. Dante didn't seem to notice or care. He set Leo down beside the bed, hands sliding to the buttons of Leo's silk shirt. "This outfit," Dante murmured against Leo's neck. "You have no idea what it did to me seeing you wear this for him." Jealous. Furious. The buttons came undone one by one. "But you're wearing it for me now." "I wore it for you all along," Leo admitted. "I hoped you'd notice." "I noticed." Dante peeled the shirt off Leo's shoulders. "I notice everything about you. Remember?" Then there was no more talking for a while. Much later, Leo lay against Dante's chest, his bedroom dark except for the streetlight filtering through the curtains. Dante's hand traced patterns on his shoulder, lazy and content. "I should probably go," Dante murmured, but didn't move. "Probably. I have early meetings tomorrow." Hum. "And you need sleep." "Do I?" Dante shifted to look at him. "You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into, do you?" "Probably not." Leo traced Dante's jaw. "But I'm figuring it out. I wasn't lying earlier. About my world. About what being with me means. I know. You'll have to trust me sometimes without questions. You'll have to accept that I can't tell you everything." "Dante." Leo kissed him quiet. "I'm still here, aren't I?" "For now." "For now," Leo agreed. "Ask me again tomorrow how I feel about it. Tomorrow I'm taking you to breakfast. And then lunch. And then dinner if you'll let me. That's a lot of meals. I have 6 months to make up for." Leo smiled against Dante's chest. "Then you should probably stay tonight. Early start tomorrow and all." Dante's arm tightened around him. "Are you sure?" "I'm not sure about anything right now except that I want you here." "Then I'm here." Dante pressed a kiss to Leo's hair. "For as long as you'll have me." Leo's phone buzzed on the nightstand. He grabbed it, laughing when he saw 47 missed messages from Marcus. "Marcus, boy, where are you? Marcus, did you go home with him? Marcus, are you alive? Marcus, if you're dead, I'll kill you. Leo, alive. Very alive. Call you tomorrow. Marcus, you're at his place, aren't you? Leo, maybe. Marcus, I want every detail." Dante read over his shoulder. "Don't you dare." Leo laughed. "Possessive much? You have no idea. Good thing I like it." Leo tossed the phone aside and pulled Dante back down for another kiss. Tomorrow, he'd process everything. Tomorrow, he'd figure out what it meant to be with someone like Dante Vitali. Tomorrow, he'd worry about consequences and complications. Tonight, he was just going to enjoy the fact that the alpha he'd thought didn't see him had apparently been seeing everything all along and was never going to look away. 3 weeks later. Leo stood in front of the bathroom mirror, staring at the pregnancy test in his trembling hands. 2 lines. He blinked. Looked again. Still 2 lines. "Oh my God," he whispered. "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." He'd been feeling off for weeks. Nauseous in the mornings. Exhausted by midday. His scent had changed too, sweeter, more honeyed, and Dante had noticed. Of course Dante had noticed. Dante noticed everything. "You're scenting differently," Dante had said 2 weeks ago, frowning. "Are you feeling okay?" "Fine," Leo had lied. "Probably just stress from the gala." But it wasn't stress. It was this. A baby. Dante's baby. Omegas could get pregnant outside of heat, though it was less common. And they'd been careful, mostly. Except for that one night when Dante had been particularly possessive and Leo had been particularly willing, and condoms had been the last thing on either of their minds. Leo pressed a hand to his still flat stomach. There was a tiny life in there. Dante's pup. His phone buzzed on the counter. "Dante, you're late for work. Everything okay?" Leo stared at the message, heart racing. He should tell Dante. He needed to tell Dante. But how did you tell a Mafia boss that he was going to be a father? "Leo, I'm fine. Just running late." I'll be there in an hour. Dante, I'm coming to get you. Leo, no. Dante, already in the car. Be there in 15. Leo's hands were shaking. He shoved the pregnancy test into his pocket, he couldn't leave it here, in case Dante found it, and tried to compose himself. But his scent was a mess, spiking with anxiety and something else he couldn't name, and he knew Dante would notice the moment he walked through the door. He was right. Dante arrived, took one look at him, and went still. His nostrils flared. His expression shifted into something Leo had never seen before. Leo. Your scent. I know. It's sweet. Sweeter than usual. And something else. Dante stepped closer, his eyes dark. Tell me what's going on. I can't. Not here. Then come here. Dante wrapped an arm around Leo and guided him to the car. We're going home. My home. And you're going to tell me what's wrong. Leo didn't argue. He couldn't. Dante's penthouse was all dark wood and floor-to-ceiling windows, expensive and imposing, just like the alpha who lived there. Dante led Leo to the living room and sat him down on the leather sofa, then crouched in front of him. Tell me. Leo pulled the pregnancy test out of his pocket with shaking hands and held it out. Dante stared at it. 2 lines. He didn't move for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Then, quietly, is this positive? Leo said. I'm pregnant. Yours. I know we were careful except for that one time, but I guess. Leo. Dante's voice was rough. Look at me. Leo forced himself to meet Dante's eyes. Dante's expression was stunned, but beneath it, there was something else. Something that looked terrifyingly like hope. You're carrying my pup. Yes. And Dante swallowed. You're okay. You're healthy. The baby. I don't know yet. I just found out. I need to see a doctor. But I'm okay. I think. Leo's voice cracked. Are you angry? Angry? Dante's laugh was sharp. Leo. I've been trying to find a way to keep you in my life forever. He shook his head. This is everything. You want this? I want you. I want our pup. I want to build a family with you. Dante reached up and cupped Leo's face. I know my world is dangerous. I know I'm not an easy alpha. But I swear to you, I will protect you and this pup with my life. You're mine, Leo. Both of you. Leo's eyes filled with tears. I was so scared to tell you. Don't ever be scared to tell me anything. Dante pressed a kiss to Leo's forehead. From this moment on, you're not just the Omega I love. You're the father of my pup. And I will burn this city to the ground before anything happens to either of you. Will you? Leo's voice caught. Will you mark me? Properly? I want to be yours. Completely. Dante's eyes went dark, his scent flaring with alpha possessiveness. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Dante pulled Leo into his arms and kissed him, deep and thorough and possessive. Leo melted into it, his scent sweetening as Dante's alpha pheromones wrapped around him. Tonight, Dante murmured against his lips. Tonight, I'll mark you. And tomorrow, I'll take you to the doctor. And the day after that, he pulled back, a wild hope in his eyes. We'll start planning the rest of our lives. What about Paolo? Leo asked. What about your business? What about? None of that matters right now. What matters is you. And our pup. Dante pressed a hand to Leo's stomach. I've waited my whole life to build a family with someone like you. I'm not letting anything get in the way. Leo smiled, tears streaming down his face. I love you. Dante's expression softened. I love you too, Leo. More than anything. The next month. The pregnancy was progressing normally. Leo had seen the doctor, who confirmed everything looked good. Dante had been by his side for every appointment, his protectiveness amped to 11. He'd also followed through on his promise. The night Leo had asked him to, Dante had bit down on the juncture of Leo's neck and shoulder, right over his scent gland, and claimed him in the most primal way an alpha could. The bond was there now, a constant thread between them that pulsed with warmth and reassurance. Leo could feel Dante's emotions, his protective instincts, his fierce love. You're mine now, Dante had said afterward, stroking Leo's hair. Forever. And Leo had smiled and said, forever. 6 months later. Leo's belly was round and full, the pup growing strong and healthy. Dante had been an absolute nightmare of protectiveness, ensuring Leo was well-fed, well-rested, and never too stressed. Marcus had found it hilarious. You've turned your terrifying mafia boss into a total sap, Marcus had said, watching Dante fuss over Leo. He's not a sap, Leo had protested. He just carried you to the sofa because you said your feet hurt. He brought you a blanket and water. He's also currently arguing with the chef about whether the soup you're going to eat has enough nutrients for the baby. He's a sap. Leo had smiled, warmth blooming in his chest. But now, Leo stood in the doorway of Dante's home office, watching his alpha work, his hand on his belly. Dante looked up, and his entire expression softened. Come here. Leo walked over, and Dante pulled him onto his lap, pressing a kiss to Leo's neck. How are you feeling? Tired. The pup's been kicking all day. Dante's hand moved to Leo's stomach. Pup, he said, his voice low. Stop kicking your father. He needs to rest. The pup kicked again, as if in response. Dante's laugh was warm and full of wonder. I think it's a boy, Leo said. He's already stubborn. Takes after you. Takes after you. Leo leaned into Dante's embrace. What are you working on? Nothing important. Dante kissed his temple. I can always do it later. What do you need? You. Just you. Leo was quiet for a moment. I was thinking, the gala season's starting soon. I could come back to work part-time. No. Dante. Absolutely not. You're due in 3 months. You're not planning events while carrying my pup. Then what am I supposed to do? Rest. Grow our pup. Let me take care of you. Dante's voice softened. We'll revisit the work thing after the baby's born. For now, you're mine to protect. Let me do that. Leo sighed, but he was smiling. You're impossible. You love me. I do. Leo pressed a kiss to Dante's jaw. I really do. A few weeks later. Leo woke up in the middle of the night, an intense pressure in his lower stomach. He sat up, frowning. Dante. Dante was awake instantly. What? What's wrong? I think, Leo's face went pale. I think I'm in labor. Dante moved faster than Leo had ever seen him move. Okay. Okay, we're going to the hospital. I'll carry you. Dante. I can walk. You're not walking anywhere. You're carrying my pup, and you're in labor, and I'm not taking any risks. Leo opened his mouth to argue, but a contraction hit him, and all the words disappeared. Okay, he managed through gritted teeth. Okay, maybe carry me. Dante lifted him like he weighed nothing and carried him to the elevator, shouting orders to his security team as he went. Leo was vaguely aware of the blur of activity, cars, security, Dante's hand gripping his sent a steady anchor of calm. It took hours. Leo had never been in so much pain. But Dante was there the whole time, holding his hand, murmuring reassurances. You're doing so well, Dante kept saying. You're so strong, Leo. Just a little more. And then, finally, a cry. The sound of their pup's first breath. Leo collapsed against the pillows, exhausted but euphoric. It's a boy, the doctor said, placing the tiny, squalling bundle on Leo's chest. A healthy baby boy. Leo looked down at his son. Small. Perfect. A tiny fist waving in the air. Dante leaned over him, his eyes wet. He's beautiful, Dante whispered. He's perfect. You did this, Leo said, exhausted but thrilled. We did this. You did this. Dante pressed a kiss to Leo's forehead. You gave me a family. Leo smiled, tears streaming down his cheeks. What should we name him? Dante was quiet for a long moment. Matteo. After my grandfather. He was a good man. He taught me what family means. Matteo, Leo repeated, looking at his son. Hello, Matteo Vitali. Matteo's tiny fingers curled around Leo's thumb, and Leo felt the bond snap into place, a new thread, even deeper than his bond with Dante. This was his child. Their child. I love you, Leo said. Both of you. We love you too. Dante's hand covered Leo's on their son's back. I couldn't have asked for anything more, Leo. The present. Leo stood in Dante's penthouse, their penthouse now, looking down at Matteo's crib. Matteo was 6 months old now, a chubby, happy baby with Leo's eyes and Dante's dark hair. He was perfect. Leo heard Dante come into the room before he saw him, felt the pulse of warmth through their bond. How is he? Dante asked. Out cold. He was kicking all day. Dante wrapped his arms around Leo, hands settling on Leo's waist. Just like his father. Just like his father, Leo agreed. Thank you for this. For what? All of it. My job. This home. Our son. Not running away when Paolo texted me that day. Dante nuzzled his neck. I never would have let you get away. But I'm glad you chose this. I chose you, Leo said, turning to face him. And I'd do it again. Every time. Dante kissed him, soft and sweet. I love you. I love you too. And Leo knew, deep in his heart, that this was exactly where he was meant to be. The threats from rival families were handled. The business was stable. The penthouse was home. And the alpha who had once seemed like a distant, untouchable figure was now his partner in every way that mattered, his mate, the father of his child, his forever. Leo smiled and leaned into Dante's embrace, watching his son sleep. He'd come a long way from that day in the office, staring at a desk and having inappropriate thoughts about his boss. Now, he had everything he'd ever wanted. And he wasn't about to let it go. Extra story. Dante Vitali had been in control his entire life. Every deal, every territory negotiation, every conversation, he orchestrated it all with the precision of a conductor leading a symphony. His enemies feared him. His allies respected him. His subordinates obeyed without question. None of that mattered now. Because he was standing in the doorway of a charity gala ballroom, watching his Omega, his pregnant Omega, in another Alpha's arms, and every carefully constructed wall of control was crumbling to dust. Leo was laughing. Not his polite work laugh, not the nervous chuckle he gave when Dante said something unexpectedly intimate. No, this was real laughter. Full-bodied and bright, his head thrown back and his hand pressed to his round belly protectively. The Alpha holding him had his palms splayed across the small of Leo's back. Too close. Too familiar. The bastard was touching what was Dante's, and he was doing it in public, at an event Dante had personally organized security for. Dante's vision tunneled. His jaw clenched so hard his molars ached. The cedar and smoke of his Alpha scent flared so violently that two nearby guests actually stepped back, their faces paling as the pheromones hit them. "Sir?" One of Dante's security team appeared at his elbow, his voice low and urgent. "Sir, you're—" "Get me a read on that Alpha," Dante said, his voice deceptively calm. The kind of calm that preceded a storm. Every detail. Name. Family. Employer. Connections. Now. The security guard was gone within seconds. He knew better than to ask questions when Dante sounded like that. Dante didn't move from the doorway. He couldn't. If he stepped closer, he'd do something that would make headlines. Something that would require more than just a phone call to fix. Another man saw the Dark Alpha and wisely intercepted Leo before Dante reached him. The man whose name was Aaron Park, who Leo was laughing with while his hand stayed on the small of Leo's back. Dante's vision tunneled. He walked through the ballroom like a predator through tall grass, his movements deliberate and measured. The crowd parted for him instinctively, Alphas sensing the threat, Betas reading the tension in his shoulders, Omegas averting their eyes. Leo didn't see him coming until it was too late. "Leo." Leo looked up, and his entire face transformed. The easy laughter faded, replaced by something warmer and more intimate. His expression softened into recognition, into love, into the particular look he reserved only for Dante. "What are you doing here?" Leo asked, his accent sweet and familiar. "Your meetings weren't supposed to end until—" "I finished early." Dante's hand found the small of Leo's back, deliberately displacing Aaron's. "Who's your friend?" Aaron had already taken a step back, his Alpha instinct screaming at him to retreat. Every rational Alpha knew when they'd crossed a territory line, and every instinct in Aaron's body was screaming at him to flee. "Mr. Vitali." Aaron's voice was a touch too high. "I was just catching up with Leo. We went to university together. He was telling me about the baby. Congratulations, by the way." "Thank you." Dante's voice was ice. "I appreciate your concern for my Omega. But I think Leo's tired and needs to rest. We'll be leaving now." "Dante." Leo's hand landed on his arm, his scent turning anxious. "The gala's barely started. The board members can handle themselves." Dante guided Leo toward the exit, his grip gentle but immovable on Leo's waist. "You're exhausted and you've been on your feet for hours." Leo opened his mouth, no doubt to argue, but the words died when he felt the tremble in Dante's hand. His Alpha was furious, the scent of his anger was almost choking. And beneath it, something else. Something that smelled terrifyingly like fear. "Okay," Leo said quietly. "I'm coming." The walk to the car was silent. The drive home was more of the same. Dante's hands gripped the steering wheel hard, his scent a chaos of territorial rage and something far more vulnerable. Leo's heart ached, even while his pregnancy hormones made everything feel 10 times more intense. Dante was terrified. Not of losing him exactly, but of not being able to protect him. "Dante!" Leo's hand landed on his thigh. Talk to me. Not yet. His alpha's voice was hoarse. I'm not, I need to be calm first. Let me help you calm down. Leo's hand slipped higher. Pull over. Dante's jaw clenched. I'm not having sex with you on the side of the road while you're 6 months pregnant. Then pull over and let me talk to you properly, Leo said. Because whatever's going on in your head is making you smell like you're about to burn the city down. Dante pulled into a parking lot overlooking the East River. The view of the skyline was stunning, but neither man was looking at it. Leo unbuckled his seatbelt and turned to face his alpha fully, his hand finding Dante's chest. You're shaking, Leo said softly. You never shake. I saw another alpha with his hands on you. Dante's voice cracked. I saw him, touching you. Smelling you. And you were laughing with him like he was an old friend. Leo finished. Because he is. I knew Aaron in college. He's married to my best friend's cousin. He's harmless. I'm not worried about him. Dante turned to face Leo, his dark eyes blazing. I'm worried about the piece of me that wanted to tear his head off for putting his hands where they didn't belong. I'm worried that I have this darkness in me that makes me want to lock you away so no one else can even look at you. The confession hung in the air between them. Leo's scent softened, the sweetness of his omega pheromones wrapping around Dante like a bomb. You wouldn't do that. Wouldn't I? Would you? Dante's silence was answer enough. I hate this about myself, he said finally, his voice barely a whisper. I've spent my whole life being the one in control. The one who makes the rules. The one who never lets anyone get to him. And then you walked into my office in that blue sweater, his laugh was humorless. And I've been a mess ever since. Dante. Leo shifted as close as the car seat would allow. I don't want you to be in control. I don't want you to be cold. You can trust me with this. Whatever darkness you think you have, I know about your world. I'm still here. I'm still yours. You don't understand. Dante's hand came up to cup Leo's face, his thumb brushing over Leo's cheekbone. When I saw him touching you, when I saw you laughing at something he said while he was touching you, I wanted to. The security team told me you made everyone in the ballroom take a step back, Leo said gently. They said you looked like you were about to start a war. I was. But you didn't. You came over, you introduced yourself, you took me home. Leo pressed a kiss to Dante's jaw. That's control. That's not losing control. That's you being exactly the alpha I need. Dante's arms wrapped around him, pulling Leo as close as the pregnancy would allow. His face buried itself in Leo's neck, his breaths coming in ragged gasps that slowly steadied as Leo's scent enveloped him. I can't lose you, Dante said into his skin. If something happened to you, nothing's going to happen to me. You don't know that. You don't know the people I've made enemies of. You don't know what they do to get to me. To get to, his hand pressed against Leo's belly. To get to both of you. Dante. Leo drew back to look at him. I agreed to this life. I chose it. I chose you. He cupped Dante's face with both hands. And I would choose you again every single time. But I need you to stop letting the fear make you crazy. Because you getting this worked up over me talking to an old friend, that's the kind of thing that puts strain on me and the baby. Dante went still. What? Stress is bad for the pregnancy. You know this. My doctor told us both. I know. Dante's voice came out small. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. No. You were thinking. Leo smiled, softening his words with a kiss to Dante's cheek. You were thinking that I belong to you. And I do. But I also belong to myself. And I need you to trust me to take care of that part. Dante studied him for a long moment, his alpha instincts warring with the part of him that wanted to be worthy of Leo's trust. You're the most incredible person I've ever met, Dante said finally. And I don't deserve you. Stop. Leo shook his head. You deserve me. And I deserve you. That's the deal. He leaned back with a sigh. Now take me home and feed me. I'm hungry and I'm tired and I've had a very long night. Dante laughed, the sound surprised out of him. You're impossible. You love me. I do. Dante started the car, but he reached for Leo's hand before they pulled away. I really, really do. They were silent for the rest of the drive, but it was a comfortable silence. Leo's hand in Dante's, his thumb tracing absent patterns over the alpha's knuckles, his scent soft and content. When they finally got home, Leo disappeared into the bedroom to change into sweats and something a lot softer than the formal shirt he'd been wearing. When he came back, he found Dante standing at the kitchen counter, aggressively chopping vegetables for dinner. You do that when you're stressed, Leo observed, leaning against the kitchen doorway. The aggressive chopping. Dante looked down at the vegetables. Ha! It's adorable. It's not adorable. It's deeply concerning that you find my stress response adorable. Everything about you is adorable. Leo pushed off from the doorway and walked over to wrap his arms around Dante from behind. His belly pressed against the small of Dante's back. You literally just scared an entire ballroom and now you're chopping tomatoes like they personally offended you. Tomatoes didn't go near you. An alpha's hands on my back. I'm taking care of that. No, you're not. Leo pressed a kiss to Dante's spine. Because you already did. You walked over, you took control, you took me home. That's the appropriate response to an alpha getting too close to your pregnant omega. You don't need to give him a permanent injury. Dante set down the knife and turned in Leo's arms, his hands finding Leo's hips. I love you. I know. I don't, he stopped, swallowed. I don't express it well. I know I can be intense. But I want you to know that every decision I've made since the day you walked into my office has been about wanting you in my life. Every day, every choice, I think about you. Leo's eyes grew wet. Dante. I know I'm not easy. I know my world is complicated and dangerous and sometimes terrifying. But you make it all mean something. You make me want to be better. You make me want to build something worth protecting. I was going to be alone forever, Leo. I'd made peace with that. And then you walked in with your binders and your grandmother's cannoli recipe, and I've never been the same. Leo was crying now, his hand pressed over his mouth. Please don't cry, Dante said, wiping the tears away with his thumbs. I only just got you to relax. Happy tears, Leo managed. Those are happy tears. Don't ruin this by making it weird. Dante laughed, full and warm, and pulled Leo into a hug. I'll try to be less weird. No. Leo shook his head against Dante's chest. Be exactly as weird as you are. That's the Dante I fell in love with. The one who's too possessive for his own good and thinks he's terrifying but is secretly a huge softie. I am not a softie. You used to come to my desk with fresh flowers and make up work-related excuses for why you were there. Leasing contracts required. Stop lying. Leo laughed. And I love you. I love your possessive streak and your dark, terrifying side and your weird obsession with me. I love it all. And I'd rather have you exactly as you are than any more normal alpha on the planet. Dante kissed him, slow and soft and full of all the things he didn't know how to say. How did I get this lucky? I was wondering the same thing. Leo smiled. But since you are terrifying and I'm the only one who's immune to it, we should probably stay together forever. For the sake of everyone else. Agreed. Dante's hand found Leo's belly. And I'm going to make sure this one knows exactly how lucky he is to have you as his father. Bold of you to assume he's going to be a boy. The ultrasound wasn't conclusive. I just know. Dante pressed a kiss to Leo's belly. And I'm going to teach him to be stubborn and protective and impossible to say no to. So he's going to be exactly like you. Exactly. Dante grinned. So the world will have to deal with two of us. Leo laughed, bright and full, and pulled his alpha in for another kiss. The darkness would always be there. The fear, the danger, the edge of violence that surrounded Dante's world. But in moments like this, wrapped up in each other's arms with their son growing between them, none of it mattered. Leo knew what he'd signed up for. And he'd do it all over again, every single time, because Dante Vitale was everything he'd ever wanted. The end.